So these hearings, oh, it's all. Here's this woman. Here she is. What's her name? She's Meadows' aide. It's the aide of
Hutchinson, something Hutchinson.
Yeah. She's she's a handsome woman. She's not that bad, right? She's got all the features you need in an attractive woman. She looks older than she is. Is she 25? I hear she's like 25. She's one of those 25 like they are in beauty pageants. I'm 22 years old. It's like they all look, I don't know, 30. But there she is. She was the big surprise witness that they dragged out for, I think, the final episode. Isn't this the final episode of the hearings? I don't even fucking know. But no one gave a fuck about any of the other hearings. All the days they've been doing this, and no one watched, no one cares. Nothing has come out of any merit, as it didn't today with Hutchinson's testimony. But it has been funny. This testimony is the funniest I've heard yet. It's all second, third, and sometimes fourth-hand information. She's testifying to things that she never personally heard. Never personally heard. Now, for the multitude of people that do not know how the actual legal system works, that would be totally inadmissible in an actual court of law. When you have somebody who's on trial and a witness comes up and goes, so I was talking to someone who was in the same room as someone else when that person said such, you can't do that. You cannot do that. And all of her testimony is secondhand testimony. There's not one instance of anything she said where she heard Donald Trump saying certain things that she testified to today. It's all through another party. All complete hearsay. But as we know, and many don't, this is not a legal hearing. This has nothing to do with legalities. They said right at the get-go of this thing that, this won't result in any indictments. We're not going to come up with any charges against anyone from this hearing. Then what the fuck are you doing it for? Oh, again, I think I addressed that minutes ago. It's a campaign ad. It's a midterm election Democrat campaign ad that we are paying for. You just contributed to the Democratic Party's campaign. How does that feel? You like that? When you paid your taxes, you are a contributor to a commercial endorsing the Democratic Party and mostly bashing the Republican Party. You like that? You like having contributed to the Democrats? What are you, staunch Republican, conservative, right-winger? What are you? Doesn't matter. You gave money to a fucking commercial for the Democrats. Enjoy that. Enjoy that. They figured out how to do that. They figured out how to make you pay for their fucking spots. So this Hutchinson girl gets up there and she starts spouting about what other people said, what other people told her that someone else heard Trump say or saw Trump do. What we have seen was, it seemed to me, the bottom line was, and this is why he's not been put on trial for a treason or insurrection or sedition. He gave a speech on January 6th from Washington. It was a short distance from the Capitol. He voiced his displeasure with the results of the election, having a lot of shenanigans and hijinks had taken place. He's like, Pence now, in one of the final ways to certify the election, Pence in the Capitol had to sign off on all of the states' election results. It's pretty much what was going on at the Capitol that day. And if he didn't, that would have bounced everything back to some kind of a recount of all the election results. So when Pence decided he wasn't going to do that, or as Pence was deciding whether he was going to do that or not, no one really knew at that point. Trump said, as he was voicing his displeasure, it was never anything insightful. There's nothing in his entire speech that you could say, there it is. There's the moment he told the people to break into the Capitol and harass or assault or murder the people in the Capitol, senators, congressmen, the vice president, what have you. Never. And as a matter of fact, before he left the podium, he said, after this, we'll all go to the Capitol and voice our opinions peacefully. Just voice a protest, the thing the left does all the time. The right decided to do it at the Capitol. Of course, you're going to get people that do nothing. They'll sit on a blanket and have a picnic and go, this is great. And then you get the other end of the spectrum where people will break into the Capitol, walk around. Maybe some light vandalism took place. And the only person actually killed on that day was Ashley Babbitt, an Air Force veteran, patriot, who happened to be in the Capitol that day. Not a smart move. I'll give anyone that went into the Capitol the ability to say, well, maybe I wasn't that smart that day. You knew shit was going to hit the fan. But it wasn't an insurrection. It was a protest. It was trespassing. It was vandalism. I even think you could say, because assault is such a weird, vague term, that some people were probably assaulted, maybe even Capitol police officers. You push one, you do, that's considered assault. But no one was being beaten to death. There weren't 50 deaths of all the bullshit that came out of that day. And again, when I get back to what I was saying, Trump said, we'll head down to the Capitol and make our voices heard, peacefully make our voices heard. If that's the dog whistle to an insurrection, it's a pretty shitty one. Unless you can find some evidence that was a key word, like when Trump says, we're peacefully going to make our voices heard at the Capitol. What he said before, and I have the memo here, and the communique that went out, and there's testimony and evidence that Trump did say that. The night of the long knives, shit like that. No. Nothing. There's nothing to indicate that Trump wanted people to interfere with the process. He wanted people to voice their opinion and their displeasure with the process and the results thereof. Well, you never know it from this January 6th hearing. They are spewing nonsense. This is a select committee, by the way. This isn't two sides. They selected who they wanted, and they kept out people like Jordan and Cruz and a lot of other people that would have cross-examined these witnesses. But they're not really witnesses in a court of law that can be open to cross-examination. They're not sworn in. And it's a select committee, so there's no real cross-examination or any challenge to what they're saying. So this woman can get up there, or anyone can get up there, or Cheney, Liz Cheney can get up there and spout whatever they want without being questioned with impunity, because it's not due process, because it's not a real legal trial. Because everything they say means nothing legally. And as I see them saying and doing these things on this commission, you'll see the liberals and dummies and the usual suspect Hollywood douchebags. Bette Midler, Rosanna Arquette, the View women. Who else was spouting today about it? And it was just Rosie O'Donnell. All these people have no clue what this is about. No clue. And they go like, oh, well, after what I heard today, how is he not being arrested right now? And you go, because you're stupid is why. Because you're a fucking idiot. You know nothing about the system and how it works and what this hearing is. But again, I blame them for being so stupid and not looking deeper into what this is and what they're compelled to do after all of this testimony and stuff, which, by the way, is nothing. There's nothing you can do. This will end. Nothing will have been accomplished except, again, if I may reiterate, you have paid for a Democratic campaign ad. So Rosie was posting how Trump need lock him up, it said. Remember we were doing that with Hillary? Lock her up. We all knew. I mean, we all really knew it wasn't going to happen. It was fun to hear and everything. And I guess they're enjoying it, but they really think he's getting locked up or should be locked up or whatever. Here it is. There's Rosie. That bastard. Lock Trump up. Lock Trump up? I've never seen a Trump up. I bet they're adorable, though. A little Trump puppy. Yeah, and it goes, Cheney says, as rioters chanted, hang Mike Pence, Trump reportedly said, Mike deserves it. Now, really take that in, soak that in. Cheney said this. As rioters chanted, hang Mike Pence, Trump reportedly, there's a big word right there. By the way, I'll take it out. I'll take it out. Trump absolutely was heard saying. Trump was recorded saying. Same thing. Trump was recorded. Here's the audio of people chanting, hang Mike Pence, and Trump in the Oval Office, in his limo. He wasn't at a podium. He wasn't talking to people. He said reportedly, but again, I'll say recorded. Mike deserves it. Do you know there's no crime that was committed there? Do you know the president has as much right to the freedom of speech and expression as everyone else in this country has? He's an American citizen. He could agree with people yelling, hang Mike Pence. He's not hanging Mike Pence. He's not telling people to hang Mike Pence. He's just saying, yeah, they should do that. In a room with a few people that then told someone else and reportedly said it to somebody. And based on that, Rosie fuck O'Donnell thinks, oh, lock him up. That's it right there. That's a slam dunk. They don't get it. I'll say it 1,000 fucking times. Liberals, these people that are so passionate about a cause, don't put a second of fucking research into that cause that they supposedly are so fucking passionate about. We see it with everything. We're seeing it now with Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court, abortion. I have never seen a collection of idiots as large as liberals that are protesting this decision that was made by the Supreme Court. And the hyperbole, the bullshit that they honestly believe that women are going to die from this. The comments about forced pregnancy. I don't even know what that is. Forced pregnancy. An 11-year-old girl gets raped. They love these scenarios. I can't imagine they're not jerking off to these scenarios. An 11-year-old girl gets gang raped. And she gets pregnant. And you're forcing that little child to raise a rapist child. Where is that? Please, I beg of you to show me where that'll happen, where that has to happen, where there's no other recourse but an 11-year-old girl delivering a rapist baby. That's how they post. And they believe it. They do believe it. They're so wound up, it's cult-like. When a cult believed David Koresh was Jesus. When Reverend Jim Jones down in Guyana told everyone to drink the Kool-Aid, which wasn't even Kool-Aid. They believed it. They believed they were going to a better place, and when they hear this nonsense, when these liberals hear this nonsense, and it's regurgitated on social media and by the media, mainstream media, and by the politicians, and any dissenting opinion is eliminated from those avenues of knowledge, they honestly believe it. So there's a lot of people to blame here. I mostly blame the idiots. There is a way around mainstream media. There is a way to go, I think I'm going to look for myself what this is really all about. And all you really have to do is read things like the decision. It's not in complete legalese where you don't understand it. And understand what this Roe v. Wade rejection by the Supreme Court was all about. Nothing to do with abortion. It's nothing to the word abortion isn't even in there. It's the Supreme Court deciding that the federal government has no place in whether someone can get an abortion or not, whether they're legally allowed to get an abortion or not. The Supreme Court said the federal government doesn't have a place in there. Now, the state government has a right to make laws banning abortions, condoning abortions, making them completely legal. I don't know, maybe even required. There's probably people that want to make it required where you have to have an abortion, but I don't know how well that would do. But that's what it did. It took something that the Supreme Court looked at and said, there's no constitutional ruling here that we can make based on the United States Constitution that gives the federal government the right to say every state has to adhere to this. States' rights are a big thing. Unfortunately, they've been undermined so much of late by the federal government that a lot of people don't even understand it's a thing anymore. They don't understand. The United States was never about every state having to adhere to what the federal government said. The states have to adhere to the federal Constitution, the Constitution of the United States. Those are all the amendments, the Bill of Rights. Those are the rights that we have just for being people here in the United States. We have rights. They're not given to us. There's a list of rights you have that the government cannot infringe upon. Now, as far as the states go, they can make up their own rules, but even the states can infringe on those constitutional rights. That's where the federal government has their set of rules for all the states. There they are. They're listed right here. Now, you can make your own rules in your states, but they can't interfere with the rights you are innately given by the Constitution. Now, when the federal government stepped in and said every state needs to allow abortions in their state, that was not constitutionally sound. That wasn't an amendment. It wasn't a rule that was based on the documents that said that the states can't infringe on these rights. So you have a bunch of states, some of them want abortions, some of them don't. That's the beauty of our country. It's actually the way it's supposed to work. People are talking about how this is an end of our democracy. It's a right-wing, insanely right-wing partisan Supreme Court. It's not. It's exactly how it's supposed to work. The states were given the right to make their own rules as long as they don't fuck with the Constitution because they knew that people would have different ideologies, morality, ethics, and they could go to a certain place and based on the population and that common ideology could elect representatives that represent their unique take on what they consider to be freedom and democracy and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, obviously, it has to fit within that framework of the Constitution. But you can come up with other things, as long as they don't infringe, that are more reflective of your community. And that way, the entire country isn't the same. You're free to do things. Not here? All right, I'll go here, where I'm more free to do things. Still within the boundaries of the United States. It is fucking amazing how few people understand this concept. That it's a beautiful system in how it actually works. That you could go somewhere and not have to adhere to the same rules they do in California or New York or anywhere if you don't like it. I personally am involved in this right now. My move to South Carolina. I don't like being over fucking taxed. I don't like being restricted on gun ownership and restrictions on my ability to protect myself and my loved ones and my property. I don't like that. So you can fight in the state you're in and try to change that. But if the majority of people are voting against what you want, it's still legal. It's still the system. You can be mad and stay, or you could be mad and leave. Go to somewhere where there's a more like-minded community, and now you choose leaders that represent you and your like-minded community. And now you're able to protect yourself. You're able to get an abortion if you want to go to another state. You're able to do things, but, oh, sorry, every state doesn't have to adhere to a federal regulation about things. And again, I'm flabbergasted by people that profess to be such passionate advocates of certain things, whether it's gun control or abortion or something, and have no knowledge on the topic or the laws. The laws are a big part of it. Gun control. They come up with this gun control ideas. Just get rid of all the guns. You're an idiot. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. You do understand, again, the Constitution, the Second Amendment, right to bear arms. You can't just get rid of that. That's part of that framework. In order to amend a right or eliminate a constitutional right, there isn't a president that could just do that. It is a big fucking deal. They made a point of making it nearly impossible to eliminate a constitutional right that has been amended to the Constitution or part of the original Bill of Rights. And there's a reason for that, because that's a basic framework for the states to work on. That's the foundation. And then the state itself decides based on representation of the community and what they hold dear or don't. But again, you have to adhere to that initial foundation. And then you build your community that you want to live in and pursue your life, liberty, and happiness. But there's such selfish, dumb people that don't really understand that there will be a lot of people that think differently than you do. And they're of equal numbers, and they live in different places with different ideas and values. And that's great. That is a perfect fucking way to do it. But nope, they need you to agree with everything they fucking think and what they want to do. And it's just, it's embarrassing more than anything. I mean, the bottom line is eventually the Supreme Court comes to its senses. Certain politicians, I always cite Rand Paul. He will deny signing something because he doesn't agree with the constitutionality of it. Not agree with it or agree or not agree with a certain topic or law or bill, You could actually agree with a bill and go, fuck, that'd be great. It's completely against what America stands for. It's completely against the Constitution. So I can't sign off on it. Senator Anthony, well, all right, gonna get rid of this little fucking Lincoln. Yeah, you can't do that. See? It's not mob rule. It's not a democracy in that the biggest number of people voting get the win. That isn't what America is about. It's never what it was about. That's why we have an electoral college and not a popular vote, because a lot of times it takes representation of the people. That way you get a better mix and fanatics can't really get a hold of something. It's evened out. It's run through a capacitor, little filter. And you don't get these insane elections where you could literally have a group of people that want to abolish, the Emancipation Proclamation, the 13th Amendment, the 18th Amendment, Prohibition. So you get that. And the system works so beautifully. But when people don't understand how it works and they criticize it as being un-American and unconstitutional and undemocratic, and it's, well, like I said, it's more embarrassing than infuriating, because at some point the system gets it right and you get people crying and yelling and screaming, and that's the embarrassing part. You just got to hope enough people do understand how it works and continue to let it work the way it's supposed to. And that's that, I'm sure somewhere down the line there'll be a majority of liberal-minded people on the Supreme Court, and I hope they don't just vote for things and come up with decisions based on their own personal take on the subject. And I hope what they do is what we saw this Supreme Court do. Base it on the constitutionality of a state's right to either allow abortions or not allow them. Leave it up to the people in various communities, in various states that have unbelievably different ethics, moralities, and principles and ideologies than another state would. Because, again, that was the whole idea of what America was about, this great concoction, the amalgam of different ideologies. And when you get enough people saying that this is hate speech or we don't want you to say that, it won't be said. And certain ideas and thoughts won't be presented to the people. But when you have enough different ideologies around, it becomes like, oh, I don't like that. It's hate speech. And you get a group of people that go, no, it's not. This is exactly what it's supposed to be. That's great. It's not supposed to get violent, but a good discussion is nice, and it keeps things in check. So, that was my take on the hearings today, which are hilarious. Like it has nothing to do with the legal system. The legal system is what it is. Study it, maybe. Look at a few things. I'm not telling you to go, study for the bar exam, but at least know what the fuck you're talking about. This was a dog and pony thing, a political ad that you paid for. But again, one of the funniest parts, and I love this. Apparently, Donald Trump, in his anger, he wanted to drive to the Capitol after his speech and, join with his insurrectionists and his traitorous people to America. And the limo guys, the guys in the limo, the Secret Service, said, no, we're going to the West Wing, Mr. President. Well, Donnie Trump ain't putting up with that nonsense. Like an action movie. He reaches over. Do we got the tape? Maybe it's better if it's in the testimony itself.
The president said something to the effect of, I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now. To which Bobby responded, sir, we have to go back to the West Wing.
Could you pause this a minute, too? again, please, I need to make this point 1,000 times. She did not hear any of this. She did not hear any of this. She is hearing from someone that heard this story. She's hearing from third-hand information about this. So she's getting everything. Oh, and then the president said, and you said, again, in a court of law, they're not even allowing her to get on the stand. Through discovery, the judge would go, this isn't testimony. The fucking lawyer would be thrown out of the courtroom if he even tried to present second or third hand testimony from someone that had no knowledge, no firsthand knowledge of what was being said or done. Didn't see it. So that's how fucking bogus they're presenting it. That's just it. If they preface this, there should be a warning running on the bottom of this whole fucking circus that this is not a legal proceeding. The testimony you are hearing is second and third hand hearsay, has no place in a court of law. But no, they pushed this as a legal proceeding. And they made it sound like they actually had the option to present criminal charges to certain people based on this testimony. No. They're like, well, we've decided we're not going to pursue charges against anyone based on... You can't! Because you can't. A grand jury would throw this shit out. Inadmissible. But no, they made it look like, watch these hearings, people. Oh boy, you're going to see some shit fly. It's crazy. All horse shit. Every second of it. Continue.
The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol."
The TV show.
Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel.
Pause again.
Mr.
I love this. Can you picture this, by the way? Trump's got one hand on the wheel. No, we're going to the West Wing. Fuck you, God. He's choking a guy. He's steering the fucking presidential. I can't. I fucking can't. Are you shitting me? And Rosie O'Donnell and Rosanna Arquette and Bette Midler and Cher and everyone sitting watching going, oh my God, this maniac needs to be arrested. Not a fucking second are they thinking, this sounds ridiculous. This sounds ridiculous. Could you pop up the picture? Presidential limo. There is almost a schematic, and it's literally Donald Trump in the back. It's a drawing, a very good sketch of all the equipment and shit. It's if you can't find that one, it's on my Twitter. Yeah, okay, good. You saw it. I know. The way Garrett's acknowledging it is like, yeah, this is the one. There it is. There it is. Zoom in. Look at Trump in the back. There's Trump. There's Melania. Right in the back there, right? Now look, yeah, okey doke. He is. He's giving the okey doke. Someone must have added that in, but all right. Now pull forward to the driver. There it is. Now, all the liberal Democrat have talked about is how fat and unhealthy and out of shape Donald Trump is. Do you think he could get from that seat past the Secret Service? The Secret Service guys are at the window. That's where they sit. There's a chamber between the driver and glass partition, by the way, a glass partition, and an opening where equipment is stowed. Then the Secret Service guys, then equipment, and then Donald Trump. He somehow got from that seat to a point where his hand was on the fucking steering wheel. Did this cunt even look at a drawing of this car before she came up with one of the most insane scenarios I've ever heard in congressional testimony? It's logistically impossible for Donald Trump to get his hand on that steering wheel. It's not a limo. You don't. The driver doesn't put the partition down for fun, especially during a time where obviously they're going. We got to go back to the White House. This is crazy. There's an insurrection at the Capitol. Hey, how you doing there, Don? Yeah, I've been driving a couple of days. Oh, my roids. Oh, they're killing me. That glass is up all the time. And the Secret Service guys are sitting looking at the president. That's their job. He somehow gets through them, grabs the wheel, and chokes one of the Secret Service guys. You're kidding me. You're out of your fucking mind. And by the way, you'd have been able to do this in that hearing if you could cross-examine the witness. Who, by the way, if it was a hearing with cross-examination, they would have had to be sworn in. And you never see that bitch in that seat. Because she'd never go in there and be sworn in. Because you know it's something called fucking perjury. And they wouldn't allow her to even speak a second of the second and third hand hearsay bullshit that she was saying. So it's so fucked up. Trump saying that would be funny. Okay, let me talk to Sean. What's up, man?
Yeah, people don't realize that when the president's walking out with, the Secret Service said, "Hey, Trump, you want to ride shotgun?" He goes, "Yeah, shotgun." So he just rides in the front. That way he could grab the wheel.
And they literally gave him a shotgun. They go, "Hey, you're riding shotgun. Here, take this. We're going to the Capitol. It's going to be great." Yeah, and he grabbed the wheel like a crazy broad. It's so inconceivable, dude.
The other thing is that there's probably some sort of 6-inch glass between the driver and Trump himself.
Of course there is. It's not a regular limo. Put the partition up so we could do coke and listen to fucking thrash metal in the back. It's not.
Maybe they picked them up in a Pinto that day.
Yeah. You know, I heard at one point Trump opened the sunroof and was hanging out, waving his arms like Tom's, what's his name? Tom fucking, fuck.
Yeah, because that worked
like
well
Tom Hanks in Big. Yeah, he came out, he was in a white tuxedo, and he was waving out the top of the sunroof, saying, "I love this song." It's preposterous. It's not even remotely possible that what she was saying actually happened. And the only way she gets this testimony out is if she's not under oath and there's absolutely no cross-examination, and they just wanted to throw that out there.
That show is not for us. It's for the low-information voter.
Abso-fucking-lutely, my friend. Goddamn, Sean. Thank you, man.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. Yeah, they let him just drive in the front. They let him just get up front. What are you doing here? Let me get this. It's like Pee-wee in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Hold the steering wheel, Pee-wee. Hold the steering wheel, Trump. Oh. And there are people that believe this. There are people that are sitting there stewing that Donald Trump isn't being arrested right now. Right the fuck now. I would love to see any reporter question any one of these people and call them out on it. Like, just call them out. How would it be possible? Where was Trump sitting? Where were the Secret Service agents? Why can't we get the Secret Service agent guy to come in and talk about this instead of some assistant to an assistant? Your assistant to the assistant Secret Service guy. You got to lose that jacket. Hey, Trump, take the wheel. It's fucking ludicrous. Here we go. Andy, what's up, my friend?
I used to contract at the White House, so I got to actually look around the limo a little bit one time when they were washing it. That motherfucker is, I mean, it can take direct, like,
it's
18-round hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just...
It's
plus
built.
The Secret Service does not... They don't fuck around.
No, it's built to protect the president against anything. It's bulletproof. It's bomb-proof. Everything, every seat, like Trump has to sit in a certain seat because that seat has armor around it and under it, and he can't just pick a seat and sit in it. It's fucking, that's where he's supposed to be sitting. And the idea that he somehow got his hand on the steering wheel, it's as ridiculous as saying you got your hand on the stick of a plane, the yoke of a plane post 9/11 when they put the locks on the doors. Oh, yeah, he was in a seat. He just grabbed the fucking... Well, how did he get through the door? Oh, no, he did, though. It was amazing. Yeah, there you go. There's a good fucking suggestion for the limo thing. Nick, what's up?
Yeah, why wouldn't they have the actual limo driver on the stand instead of second hearsay?
Hearsay from some woman that volunteered her testimony. No subpoenas were handed out for this because, again, it's not a legal thing. They didn't subpoena. The limo driver goes, yeah, I'm not getting up there. I'm not saying anything. He could be compelled to testify, but not in this circus because, again, this was not a legal proceeding. You cannot compel people to come in and testify at this garbage bullshit select committee nonsense. So what you get, what you get are voluntary people that have an axe to grind with Donald Trump that can say whatever they want with impunity and not be called on it. So, yeah, you get ridiculously bizarre stories like the Trump grabbing the steering wheel while choking out a fucking Secret Service man. It's like, what was that? The White House has fallen, or one of these. It's like one of those movies. It's crazy. Trump, get out of my limo. Like, get off my plane. Here we go.
I'm crashing the gate. No. It's 8 feet tall and real hard steel. We're not gonna make it. Left.
Jamie Foxx, motherfucker.
Where's the garage clicker?
I love a good 5 frames per second.
I think
Donald Trump's in there. He's taking the wheel. We got to stop him. Trump's gone rogue. Trump's gone rogue. You're damn right. Oh, it's fucking hilarious. The nonsense, the bullshit, the inability of people to realize it's bullshit. I got to do this quickly. Could you just go to CNN? Because they're probably pushing this like it's the greatest testimony. No? I have
to look up what channel it is.
Oh, see how often we go to CNN? What channel's that? Is it even a channel? Go to the internet. Go to CNN Plus. Oh, that's right. It doesn't exist. 2 minutes it was on. That fucking shit. Oh, my God. Jake Tapper. Oh, let's see what Jake Tapper is saying. Jake Tapper's hot. Oh, wait. Oh, no, that's Jake Tapper.
As an American, I was disgusted.
Bombshell testimony from surprise witness Cassidy Hutchinson, a former top aide to White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows.
Top story of the hour.
I heard the president say something to the effect of, I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away. Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol from here.
Hutchinson describing how Trump allegedly directed White House staff to
you
remove
better
the
say
metal
that.
detectors around the ellipse because he was upset the crowd didn't look big enough. Hutchinson testifying that lead White House counsel Pat Cipollone warned about legal exposure if Trump followed his supporters to the Capitol.
We're going to get charged with every crime imaginable if we make that movement happen.
And do you remember which crimes Mr. Cipollone was concerned with?
In the days leading up to the 6th, we had conversations about potentially obstructing justice or defrauding the electoral count.
Hutchinson relaying a secondhand account about a defiant Trump who wanted to go to the Capitol anyway, allegedly even attacking the leader of the Secret Service detail
they are
while in
fucking.
the presidential
You can't
motorcade.
pause. Okay.
I'm the effing president. Take me up to the Capitol now.
Yeah.
The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel.
Hutchinson telling the committee White House officials knew something big was brewing on January 6th, testifying that Trump's former attorney, Rudy Giuliani, told her.
"We're going to the Capitol. It's going to be great. The president's going to be there. He's going to look powerful."
And when she approached Meadows for more details, she says Meadows gave an ominous response.
He didn't look up from his phone and said something to the effect of, "There's a lot going on, Cass, but I don't know. Things might get real bad on January 6th.
After things did get real bad at the Capitol, Cipollone pleaded with Meadows to get Trump to do something to stop it, according to Hutchinson.
And Pat said something to the effect of, and very
to the effect
clearly,
of, are you getting this?
Said this to Mark, something to the effect of, "Mark, something needs to be done or people are going to die and the blood's going to be on your effing hands. This is getting out of control."
Hutchinson testified that watching the violence and destruction unfold on January 6th was devastating.
Oh, by the way, ex-White House aide provides first-hand account of Trump's actions on. We all have first-hand account of Trump's actions. We saw it. We saw it as it happened. This is them trying to tie that to what she's testifying, which is not first-hand account. This is all bullshit. Let me hear this
relating to January 6th. Now, former President Trump or his party has taken to Truth Social and denied some of the most shocking allegations from today, including that he allegedly lunged at the wheel. But I will note that Cassidy Hutchinson was under oath when she told that story, and she made clear that this was an account coming directly from Tony Ornato, who was actually there. We have reached out to the Secret Service. Still no comment. Jake?
Pamela Brown on Capitol Hill for us. Thanks so much. Joining us live to discuss, John Wood, former senior investigator for the January 6th committee and a former U.S. attorney under George W. Bush. He also clerked for Justice Clarence Thomas. Mr. Wood, thanks so much for joining us. So we learned so much today. Were you surprised by this last-minute hearing, and what effect do you think this witness had?
I was a little bit surprised. Obviously, since I just left the Select Committee last week, I was well aware that the committee had been talking to Cassidy Hutchinson several times. But I thought that some of this new information that came out today was just eye-popping. I would have to think that for anybody who is sort of open-minded and on the fence about what happened on January 6th, that her testimony will convey to the American people just how dangerous the president's conduct was and the danger it posed to our democracy as well as to the people who are in the Capitol at the time.
And I just want to again reiterate for anybody watching, you were a U.S. attorney in Missouri during George W. Bush's administration.
They try to make him seem like...
You were chief counsel for the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. You clerked for Clarence Thomas. You're a conservative Republican.
I am.
At the end of today's hearing, Vice Chair Liz Cheney highlighted what she called a concerning trend of witnesses describing intimidation from members of Trump's orbit. Take a listen.
Intimidation?
This is a call received by one of our witnesses. Quote, "A person let me know you have your deposition tomorrow. He wants me to let you know he's thinking about you. He knows you're loyal and you're going to do the right thing when you go in for your deposition."
How big of a problem has this been for the committee when it comes to interviewing witnesses?
Well, it's not impeding the investigation because the vast majority of...
That's hilarious, too, by the way. Some intimidation of the witnesses in this hearing. Really? You know what's intimidating? Protesting in front of your house. If you're a Supreme Court justice, that a letter came out that said you might be voting to repeal Roe versus Wade. Yeah, that's a little... Oh, you know what else is really intimidating? An assassination attempt on one of the Supreme Court justices. But they talk about these letters that they receive that are intimidating to... Just stop it. Just fucking stop it. I am so disgusted with morons. Fucking morons.